Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben here with Dylan and Brian, and we are here for a special episode. Survivor 50 is coming up in about a month and a half, which is crazy. And we are here to do a little bit of a special thing. Usually, before the season, we each kind of pick a winner, like one name off the board, and then whoever's person places the highest is the person who like wins that season. But this is a big season, all-star season, 24-person cast. We previewed it back when the cast leaked, months ago, but we thought it would be fun to kind of do a little bit of a full draft here of the entire cast of season 50. The way it's going to work is it's a snake draft. And the order is determined by our winner picks for Survivor 49. So I'm first because I had Sophie. I had Sophie, blue Sophie. And then Dylan is second because he had yellow Sophie. And then Brian is last. I've actually forgot who your winner pick was, Brian. Who was your winner pick?
No one remembers. Who was my winner pick? Oh my God. He went out pre-merge.
You were the dude bit by the snake, right? Or
No. I look at this 49 cast.
So much has happened between now and then. So much has happened.
Yeah.
Ben's.
I was Jason.
That was. I knew it was the pre-merge vote. Yes.
I remember. I was like, he went out pre-merge. Who was it? Oh yeah, he got a little swap screwed.
Yeah. So that'll be the order. I'll have the first and the last pick of the draft. So I'll be 1, Dylan will be 2, Brian will be 3, and then 4. Dylan will be 5, and then I'll be 6, and we'll continue in a snake format like that. The way it's going to work throughout the season is we'll get the number of points that is the number in the season that they were eliminated. So the first boot gives you 1 point. The second boot gives you 2 points. The winner gives you 24 points. You get all of the 8 placements added up together, and whoever has the most points based off of whose team placed collectively the highest in season 50 will be our grand winner of the season. So do you guys have anything to say before we jump in?
No.
So it's been nice. We took a little holiday break. We have returned for our episode Meet You at Breakfast for the Traders, which I'm a fan of Traders so far this season, so definitely check that out if you like the Traders. I'm very much looking forward to it to tomorrow's episode. No, it's been a nice little break. I'm very excited for Survivor to kind of be back on our agenda again. It kind of feels surreal that season 50 is this close when it feels like this time last year is when we started to really talk about 50 ramping up, and I think that's when I think it was right before season 48 dropped is when we found out about the voting and all that, right? So that's it's just I can't believe we're here because it felt so far away then, and we're only a month and a half away now, so it's very exciting. Shout out Boy Scout Scott. He is a newfound Survivor fan. He is going to be watching Survivor 50 potentially completely blind. I've sent Scott over a list of seasons he should watch to get caught up. Time is of the essence because obviously he can't watch all 49 seasons before 50 starts. So I gave him a few. I said if you can only manage to even watch just 1 or 2 before, my personal preference, I told him Winners at War, or I told him Heroes versus Villains, just because I think that's the best Survivor season in terms of, I think, the culmination of old Survivor, new Survivor. Back then, what was new Survivor? And I told him David versus Goliath, mainly because I think that's the best of the newest recent seasons. Plus, we have 3 players from that season coming back for this season. So shout out Scott. I'm not sure if he's going to have time to watch it or if he's going to go completely raw, but that's very exciting. I think that this season is bringing in a lot of potentially new viewers like that. So it's going to be very fun. No, one thing I wanted to touch up on, almost a continuation of our finale podcast, is our girl Sage. Sage, the drama queen, the troublemaker, the keep all attention on me Sage. She has basically thrown Soph, our girl, under the bus, saying she was cheating in pregame. Her and the guy that was bit by the snake, what was his name? Her and Jake were actively talking before the game started. Apparently, Christina, I have my thoughts about her too, also came out and said that apparently Christina was the one who flagged it, I think, is my understanding, to the producers that people were talking. Sage very much trying to continue to throw anybody in front of her under the bus. Can't accept that she just was not good enough to win that season. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on it. Any good grace Sage has had with me has kind of like completely taken down.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't really care.
I don't care.
I saw tons of people talking about that, and I assume it's just because a lot of people have platforms that are exclusively Survivor, so they're like, I need to whatever I can glom onto to keep the content going. But I am very much like, once the season's over, I'm like done with it, and I don't care that people were talking at Ponderosa. Like, it's up to the show to enforce their rules, and they seem to have enforced their rules by kicking a couple people out. If it's, you gotta, I guess, do what you can and what you can get away with, and I guess they were able to get away with it. So,
I guess it goes back to why I think, and we won't waste 10 minutes on this. Why I think that Sage is just naturally a bitter person. Like, what is the point of bringing it up now? Especially because I thought that they seemed on good terms. What's the point of bringing it up now? Especially when you're bringing up her talking to a guy that was eliminated like 5, 6, 7 days into the game, that really had no effect on how the game was played out after that. On a tribe that was historically pretty bad at the start at first. I don't know. It's also one of those things that I think that Sage is just talking her way out of completely ever coming back again, which is seems to be a running theme with a lot of the new era Survivor players. They love to just keep talking and saying whatever they can about the show, almost in a negative way, and yet will be the first to complain when they don't get back on. See my guy Jesse, who is Exhibit A of that in this most recent off season. I don't know.
I think there's value in disappearing and being, mysterious, but I also feel like a lot of the people who are going on Survivor now are very into clout and into the online space, which, I'm not going to knock them for. Do you know how many fucking TikTok accounts I have for various things? Like, I'm also, all about that clout, but like, I really don't, I don't care, I just, whatever. I'm sure people are going to people complained a lot about the pre-gaming for Big Brother All-Stars, like a lot. And someone like me and Ben, who have watched Survivor for so long, like, there's going to be pre-gaming for All-Stars. This is going to work. Like, one of the things that happens when you go on these shows is you never quite leave the game. But yeah, you're probably right, Dylan. She probably is torpedoing any chance of playing again, but I don't think she wanted to play again anyways. So I don't think she cares. Yeah. And Jesse's on Mr. Beast's show, right? So it's fine.
My take on the whole thing is I wish this drama happened on the television show. It would have made the season a lot better.
That's my thought as well.
It feels like way more entertaining drama in the postseason on social media, and then passive aggressive YouTube videos than we are actually on the television show that's supposed to be the entertainment product. Which is
I thought it was like 45 minutes long too, and I was like, "Nah, it's all right. I'll wait for someone to summarize it."
Yeah.
Oh, no way am I watching that.
All right. Well, I've put away the pitchforks. I am no longer irrationally angry about it, so I'm glad we talked through that. But
you'll never have to think about Sage again if it makes you feel better.
I felt like it was the only really topical Survivor news to bring up outside of 50, so I wanted to touch on it quick. But no, I am ready to go. I am ready to do this.
Awesome.
All right. So first pick off the board. I definitely have telegraphed this a little bit. I may have said it at some point and forgotten. And it's definitely a pick that I decided months ago, basically when the cast originally leaked, like within the first week after the cast leaked. And after the 50 preview that we got at the end of 49, I had thought about changing it, but I kind of wanted to just like full commit. So yes, my first pick off the board is going to be Genevieve. And you know, we covered Genevieve's season, Survivor 47. I'm a big Survivor 47 fan. I was a big Genevieve fan at the time. I thought she played a really strong game. And during that season, when we did our coverage of it, I said that she was like one of the main people from the new era that I was like actually excited to see potentially play again. So I thought that she had a really compelling narrative for a potential returning season, with the whole like kind of personal struggle around how she was playing the game, and like kind of the ethics of making friends and then stabbing them back, and then like seeing people as like chess pieces versus like the human emotions that are connected to that. And I think it's like a storyline we haven't really seen that frequently in the new era, or like even recent Survivor history at all. So it was nice to kind of get that from Genevieve. And I think that coming into an all-star season where she might have a bit more permission to play the game, like she might give herself, I guess, more permission to play the game because of the content and the context of the season. I think she could do really well. I do think the season is probably going to be new era heavy. That's what we saw with Winners at War. Obviously, in that case, the cast was a little bit more skewed than this season is, where the season's like slightly more even, but like even like the old era people, like half of them are from like late 30s. So I think that Genevieve is probably one of the people whose like target to skill ratio is in a really good spot. So that's kind of why I picked her.
I had the epiphany before the show started, who you're going to take. I forget who I said when we last talked about the draft and who I thought you would take, because your pick was very dependent on my pick, because my pick I was taking pretty much no matter what, assuming you took Genevieve, because Genevieve was probably was up there for me for sure. I think that's a very, very good pick, Ben, to be honest with you. I think that your hot streak is going to potentially continue with Jen.
Yeah,
with my number two. Go ahead, Brian.
Like the only thing I'm really nervous about for her is that she was such a front runner in her season, or at least seemed to be. And I wonder if people will like remember that and potentially hold it against her. And especially tough to be that type of a player and to not win, to come back and have like the target on you from the word go without even getting that win, you know. Spoiled it. Sorry. I thought I could add it to the stage later.
I think when you look at I agree with Ben, and I think when you look at the table that's been set for this season, I think if it was Genevieve set with a lot of, if it was all new era players, I think I could see that. I think that the old school players that are here, I think, and the winners that are here from the new era, and some of the other players that have gone very deep in between old school and new era, I think that Genevieve's gameplay could maybe potentially very easily fly under the radar with this crew. Obviously, they're all, they're Survivor legends. The majority of these people, like, they're Survivor all-time players. So they're going to know what they're walking into. I think like Kobe and his family have been watching the new seasons. Like Kobe's going to be pretty fresh and hip and skibbity toilet and all that with the new crowd coming in. So I don't know. I lean more towards Ben's rational. I think that Jen's gameplay, I think, was very good to the people paying attention to it. And I think that there was a lot of people that weren't maybe fully paying attention to it that can maybe brush her game aside. But I see what you mean too, Brian, though, is that maybe it's I guess that's the question is, can she make the leap at that point, though? I think she can. I really do. But it's with these returning seasons, it's I feel like it depends how it goes, because I don't necessarily know if people knew going into Winners at War that it was going to be exactly that old school was going to immediately get chopped away. And the new school players are going to take over.
Very disappointed by it.
I think that this season offers a balance, potentially have more of a collaboration between eras. And I think that's something that Genevieve can probably really, that will benefit her a lot. I love that pick, Ben. I think that's a very good pick. There was never a doubt once I knew who Ben was taking, who I was taking with the number 2 pick. He's in my background now. The Dragon Slayer, Benjamin, Coach Wade. I'm going with my heart 100%. I don't like that one of the first promotional videos that Survivor put out on their socials was everybody talking about who they would eliminate first. And like the first 5 people that said it all said Coach. That makes me a little bit nervous. But my heart tells me Coach is going to go far in this game. My heart tells me that Coach is finally going to win. I think we're going to kind of get our storybook ending to Coach's Survivor story. I like genuinely, this isn't a bit. I genuinely think that Coach can go very far. I can also see Coach maybe potentially being one of the first ones eliminated, but my heart goes to, I think Coach is going to go far in this game. And I also think, I've seen a lot of pictures of him with a lot of weight loss, and Coach looks better, wicked skinny. And I think that we're going to be seeing Coach very thin. And I want to see Coach specifically going on his spiritual journey with his walking stick, kind of into the woods, into the jungle. And I think that we're going to get that. And I think we're going to get Coach going very far. I'm taking Coach number 2. I've talked myself into it more I think it's a good pick, unless that I think it's almost like the amount of old school players that we have here in this season, they're going to be overlooking Coach. And maybe they're going to want to get rid of him right away because they're not going to play the games with Coach. But I do think that there's going to be players, fingers crossed, like Q, where I think Coach and Q could be a really, really fun a duo if they can link up. And I think that would be really great TV. So not only am I rooting for that because I want Coach to go far, I'm rooting for that because I think that would be awesome to watch. So I'm going with Coach second, and there's like absolutely no regrets about it at all. I would have taken him 1, honestly, maybe.
I love that. Obviously, Coach is a legend. He's Jenny's winner pick as well, Dylan. So you're in good company there.
Two very smart people, yes.
She knows a lot about Survivor. She's very good at it. I'm just happy Coach is here. So I'll take, for as long as we get him, I'll take whatever we can get, Yeah.
I mean, the best part of the season 50 preview was the Coach like voiceover of him quoting Magellan in a quote that probably isn't Magellan.
It's probably someone else, but yeah.
Probably something you just made up on the spot, and this is like attributing to Magellan.
It could have been something that the tribes member that got him in the Amazon and healed him up after the incident in the river. It could have been something that he told him too. I believe it, no matter who he told him that. So
yeah.
People think it's a joke pick. It's not a joke pick. I think that Coach could go very far potentially with this season. I like truly think that, and I'm hoping that. And maybe I'm an irrational person, but I genuinely believe that.
I mean, he showed that he has the skills to win Survivor. He just doesn't have the wherewithal to use the skills. Like he could have won South Pacific if he was like self-aware enough to just admit what he was doing and like the duplicity that he did. But he has like such a he historically in his first 3 seasons has had such a false view of his own gameplay and tries to be more of the good guy that he thinks he is than just embracing the fact that he is just as as conniving as like every other Survivor player, and he just kind of puts a facade up. So like literally it's rare that there's like a Survivor player where they have just like one like very obvious and clear fatal flaw. But like that's what Coach did. Like he has all the tools to be good at Survivor, but he has just like the one clear fatal flaw where he just is missing the ability to be self-aware about his own duplicitousness.
True. All right. So my pick, don't know if this will be controversial or not, but I think this is a player who is coming in very underrated, hasn't played in a long time, but was somebody who played in a way that was ahead of her time in All Stars. I'm going to pick Jenna Lewis for my pick. So,
very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, Brian. I did not see you going that way.
I think people were surprised at how hard she played in All Stars, and she's been waiting for years to come back. So I expect her to hit that beach playing just as hard.
I'll let you take this, Ben. I think you and Brian probably have a little bit more of a feeling for Jenna than I do.
I am disappointed because I was hoping to snag Jenna, maybe as a value pick in round 3
right.
or 4.
That's why I had to take her first.
Yeah, I think Jenna's. Yeah, I think that of the old era players, I think Jenna is the most likely to do well. And I think I said this when the Cats dropped as well, because she's not an obvious threat the way that a Suri is, or even an Ozzy or a Colby or even a Coach, where she's not a personality Mount Rushmore-esque kind of figure, or even adjacent kind of figure, which is crazy because she was on the first season of the show. There's literally her name was in one of the episodes in season 1. She's in an Eminem music video. She was a big deal 25 years ago.
Right.
One of the more iconic moments from the season is her not getting her Love One video. And yeah, she played the hell out of All Stars and ends up in 3rd place behind Romber. And could she have won if she was there? I think that the consensus is no. I think that she probably loses the jury vote to both Rob or Amber, from what we are aware, because I think that the jury hated her more than they hated Romber, which was
impressive.
Yeah, but I think that she demonstrated that she learned in the 4 short years between her first and second season, and it's been over 20 years since that second season. So she's had plenty of time to take the learnings that she got and brought into All Stars and apply that to a season like this. And I don't think people are going to see her coming.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited that she's back. It's
great
so
fit,
cool.
Honestly, really.
Yeah.
I think Jenna almost basically just completely flew under my radar, period, where she was not necessarily somebody I was even really considering taking in this draft. And then kind of hearing you two talk about it, I do. Yeah, I think it's almost the exact opposite of what we're saying about the new era, especially the winners of the new era, where there's going to be a target painted on their back immediately. She is very easily somebody that can be underestimated by everybody. I mean, she played in the original season. She has been and she is the one we talked about it during our initial 50 podcast. It's the longest gap ever in between when they last played and now, right? Yeah. So that is I think that could really be a really good pick, Brian.
Because I think also there's a world in Winners at War if Rob gets voted off first of his tribe, Amber goes super deep into the game, or if Rob's not there at all, Amber could be similarly underrated, and I'm kind of getting the same feeling here, which means it could go as badly as it went for Amber in Winners at War. We'll have to see. For my next pick, I am selecting a woman who many people think should have won her initial season, was screwed immensely. I'm going Chrissy from Heroes, Healers, Hustlers. I think she has what it takes to win this game. I think she came as close to potentially winning a game. She did everything right. She won final immunity to beat the front runner, and they threw in a twist that had never been seen before, and Ben won instead. So that's my pitch for Chrissy.
Brian, you're pissing me off. Chrissy was going to be my second pick.
Oh, sorry.
Chrissy was going to be my second pick too. So
that makes me feel good that you guys are on the same page, because I think she's a great Survivor player, and I was a little worried that it had been too long and she was never going to come back. So I'm glad she's on 50.
Yeah,
we've brought Chrissy up many of times in this podcast. Great player, did everything she needed to win her season. Was screwed over by production and a twist in a game that had not been played before. Chrissy was a great player. Very excited. She's honestly, in my opinion, one of the most deserving to be on this season. One of the players that deserved the most to play again because of how bad she was screwed in her season. I think that's a great pick. I think that Chrissy, I hope / think Chrissy has the ability to go very, very far in the season. I think Chrissy is somebody that can play socially with anybody there. And at the same time, I think Chrissy can maybe still play physically. I don't know how old she is, but Chrissy was a great physical competitor in her seasons. Excuse me. And I if she still has some of that, I think that she can do very, very well. I think Chrissy's a very good pick.
I think the challenges are easier now too than they were when she first played. So hopefully it like levels out. All right, Dylan, who you got?
I'm on. You kind of threw me for a loop because I generally didn't think that Chrissy was going to go. You were going to take Chrissy 2-2 or 2-1.
Yeah. I'm trying to like reevaluate who I'm going to pick now too.
Messed it all up.
This person, I assume, honestly, was going to be there in the third round, but I kind of want to go with them now, potentially. I'm going to go Emily.
Damn it!
That was who I was debating between Emily and Chrissy.
Maybe Emily was not going to be there in the third round.
Nope.
Kind of along the same storylines that we've been talking about. Emily is somebody who is going to learn from some of her mistakes in her first season, learn what she needs to do socially. Emily is a very, very smart person. And towards the end of her time playing, she started to put it together. And I think that it's something now that Emily can go very, very far in this season. I think Emily is somebody that can very easily be underestimated. And I know we pretty much have said that about 3 out of the 4 people that have been, or 3 out of the 5 people that have been picked so far.
That's
but
why
I generally
getting picked high though.
Yeah. That's what you're looking for, especially in an all-star season.
I think Emily, when you think about somebody who is almost built up similar to Genevieve narratively and has the capability to win this season, it is Emily. I think Emily is going to do very, very well, assuming this season kind of stays for the course of what we think it will be with the returning player season. And, you know, this season can be a complete nutcase, and Emily is gone early just because of idle Armageddons or like just complete nonsense. But I think that Emily is poised to go very far. I think she's going to learn from her mistakes in the first season. We saw it narratively in her season. I'm really excited to see her play. She's someone we said immediately she is the prime example of somebody who should play again. Very similar to what we said about like Chrissy. I think that Emily needed a second chance to show what she's made of. Emily is, I'm very excited to see her play again. I think she's going to go very far.
Yeah. Love the pick. Emily, I think she won our heart in her season. Someone who very potentially could have gone first had she not been on a tribe with someone who quit. And then she almost won. She had a hell of a run on her season. So I think that she can totally win Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I agree. I mean, she was going to be the pick if
was Emily your pick? I can't remember. But
I don't think Emily. No, my pick for, I think I picked somebody who went. I think I picked out somebody who went out pretty early.
Yeah,
on that season though. But I was a big Emily fan from like minute one. Like when everyone was hating on her episode 1, I was an Emily defender.
I do find our podcast kind of zigs when everyone else sags and stuff.
I was an Emily hater at first, I think, that season. And then I think I eventually came around on her naturally, how like everybody else kind of should have that season. So it's come full circle for me as well. I do remember, Ben, you were on Emily from the get-go. Yeah.
I saw the vision, and here we are.
All right, who are you seeing the vision on for your second pick?
Okay, well, this is hard because I had Chrissy and Emily planned in the chamber, and I have to completely pick 2 new people for my second and third picks here. So I think this is a safe pick to go with, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit of a wilder pick for the third one. Okay. I'm going to go Tiffany for my second pick.
Tiffany, I like Tiffany a lot. I think We talk about people who are underrated. I
Yeah.
think Tiffany's going to be very underrated.
Yeah, I have concerns with Tiffany because I do think there were a few times in 46 where she played let's say suboptimally. Obviously, like she's I think the lowest placing member of the season, but she's had time to kind of reevaluate. She's coming into the season with probably the smallest, if among the smallest threat levels of the entire cast. I think that the beef with Q is overstated and at this point probably a little manufactured. And
Right.
I think that her having two members of her season who are probably going to draw way more aggro than her is good. And I think she has the ability to win. She's like the quintessential like all-stars winner pick, like the person who's kind of like lowest on the board, who like no one's gonna see coming, but they have the skills.
I think Tiffany is somebody who can prove a lot on this season. I'm not fully sold on Tiffany. I'm glad she got on in the season. There was probably other players I would have put on over Tiffany, but I do think that she has a lot she can prove. And I like Tiffany enough in what she showed. And I also think that Q dynamic alone is probably worth having her on. Just I think that that's going to be a very interesting storyline to watch. I forget the tribe layout. Honestly, are they on the same starting tribe? I don't remember.
I don't think so, which is interesting because I feel like the whole point would be to like put them on the same tribe.
Either way, I think for that reason alone, and that's not to say that Tiffany needs Q to like play Survivor. That's not what I mean. I think that there were other players ahead of Tiffany I would have taken. I would have had on this season, but I do like the pick because I agree. I think that she honestly is probably maybe the most under the radar player on this season, mainly because so many other players have accomplished much more and more notable things. But I think that when you go back and look at that game, Tiffany was doing decently well. People can say Q tanked her game when Q kind of had his Q moments, but I think that they worked well together, and I think that they both got. I mean, they were on. I know we've said it several times. They were on one of the like worst starting tribes ever, and you don't go through that and make it as far as they both did without being somewhat capable of playing Survivor. Yeah, I'm excited to see Tiffany play again. I really hope she surprises me.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna
just want to note, all these pictures are different sizes, so I'm fucking trying my best to make these look the same.
Yeah, the cast photo situation with the press releases of them have. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I would say.
No, I was talking to Dylan about it before. It looked like the first time you like ever get into photography and you just like get super carried away with the sliders of Lightroom or whatever. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it's like intro to Photoshop kind of. Yeah.
Also, to answer the comment question, are we using Reddit rumors and spoilers to make our draft selection?
No.
We are completely spoil free.
And please don't spoil anything now that you know that we're spoiled free. That'd be shitty.
Yeah, that would be shitty.
All right, Ben, who you got?
Okay. This is a little bit of an off the wall pick, but
okay.
I kind of have to, I think I have to switch up my strategy because I think you guys are too on the same page with me.
Yeah, right.
I am going to pick off the board, number 7 overall. Give me Colby Donaldson.
Hell yes. All right, let's hear it, Ben. I love it, but I want to hear your rationale.
I think this is the perfect season for Colby. He is coming in from what we are aware of, right? That, this has been speculated at least even before the season 50 cast was like a whisper in the wind. That Colby, once he had kids and got back into Survivor during the new era, and is a big fan, Him and his wife like really love the strategy element now. And I think that a lot of people really do forget a lot of the actual kind of intricacies of Australian outback because the show back then wasn't like hyper focused on strategy the way it is now. But like a lot of the things that Tina and Colby did in that season were really impressive and really like kind of like high tier strategy. Like the things they did with Mitchell in the pre-merge, a lot of the like hiding the votes strategy that Tina and Colby had come up with to try to make sure that on a tie they would win the tiebreaker, with the Varner making sure he drops off on the immunity challenge situation, them being able to socially flip Roger and Elizabeth to kind of split the Kuchas post merge. Like I really think that Colby is like an underrated strategist, and a lot of that comes because he was an early-ish boot on All Stars because people were targeting winners and then finalists, and then it kind of dribbled down to the people at the end who came in like 8th, 9th, 10th place. That's just how that season went. And then in Heroes vs. Villains, he did on paper make a deep run, but I think a lot of people, because he seemed mentally checked out through much of the season, represent his success on that season for that reason. I don't think he'll be mentally checked out this season. I think that people are going to underestimate him. I think that of the early, like the old school players, the two people that were on my radar as like potentially picking up or like potentially like surviving what I think might be like a new era stomping were Jenna and Colby. Jenna's off the table, so I'm going to pick Colby.
Colby is much like Bruce Wayne coming back to Gotham after his back was broken by Bane. And I think Colby's back being broken by Bane was pretty much Heroes versus Villains. And so let's see. Is Colby back on this island to die on this island and give it all he has? We'll see. I'm like, I'm super mixed on Colby because part of me wanted to take Colby very early on. Part of me was thinking Colby maybe could fall towards the end. I don't know. I think we'll see how he adjusts to this, sort of the new play style of Survivor. I mean, obviously it's less physically demanding. It's less time on the island than it was before. So we'll see. I mean, Colby is, he's basically like, he's a main character of Survivor. He's like the original, like the Captain America of Survivor. You really, not to keep using superhero references, but that's what he was.
Sheehan said it in All Stars. He's Captain America.
He also got called Superman in the fat suit.
That's good. Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it really could go either way. I don't necessarily see Colby being somebody that is axed early on. I think that Colby will hang around, maybe potentially even to merge. I can see that. I just don't know. I don't know if Colby has the social capability to go deep in this current Survivor, but I mean, it would be such a delightful surprise if he does. For me, this next one, is it going with my heart again? Yes, I'm going with Q. I want Team Chaos. I want Team Chaos. I want the Coach and Q team up, and to kind of have, ideally, Coach Q and Emily team up. I think Emily being the brains and Q and Coach kind of being the chaos to Emily's brains. I think that would be really sweet. I love my team. It also, like, this whole team is being picked with my heart, maybe necessarily not with my head. Emily was a head pick, but I love Q. Q was the number one person we assumed would be back on 50. Jeff seems to love Q. The people either love or hate Q, which makes me love Q even more, to be that divisive. I think Q has the capability to go far in this game. Similar to everybody else's kind of storyline with 50, can they learn from their past experiences to kind of overcome it and adapt to the game to do what they need to win? I guess that's like Q is kind of the biggest example of can he do that? I think he can. I think Q is way smarter than people give him credit for. And I think that he's going to show that in this season.
I like it because it's almost like he's so out there that people will kind of forget about him, maybe.
I don't think Q will allow people to forget about him, but I think Q could still go very far.
I don't hate the pick either. There was like a flash in my mind of picking Q for the third pick that I was going to do, but I thought it was too early. I thought that maybe I could like snag him later, but yeah, no, you got him. I don't know. I don't hate the pick. I think that Q, again, like similar to Coach, is like somebody who has all of the skills to win Survivor, but just like has like some kind of, from what we saw, untenable personality flaws that just like are a roadblock towards getting over that like finish line. And those are the kind of things that like you might be able to beat out of yourself when you have a couple of years to like kind of to think about how to come back for a second season. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm very much so far picking my team of people I want to heavily root for, but I genuinely feel like I think there's a situation with coaching Q where I think, especially if they can find a way to work together, I think that they can be really a force to be reckoned with in this game. I really do.
Yeah. So I'll put both my picks in there at once since it's a snake draft. I'm going to draft Stephanie and then Charlie. Stephanie's kind of with a heart, was a big fan of her in her initial runs. I think most people were big fans of her, for Palau at the very least. They didn't like her as much on Guatemala, but I thought she was, she was a little full of herself, but she played that well and she came in second. So pretty solid. I'm just excited to see her back here. I thought after Heroes versus Villains, that might be it. But then, she was on the Traders and Snake in the Grass. And now here, Charlie is somebody who came close. He almost won. That could put a huge target on his back. But I think if he can just kind of keep his head down in the early parts of the merge, he can make good inroads and do well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them were on my potential short list of people to pick when for my second and third. Like I got close to picking Charlie. I think that the threat thing is like a big thing to me, where like just looking at the board, it's like the three winners and then Charlie would be my next.
And then Charlie right under, yeah.
Yeah, so like yeah.
It could go bad, but I just wanted to like go for it and maybe it'll work out.
Stephanie was the final piece to my team chaos before I started going the so I do like it. Charlie is one of a couple players I specifically have on my do not touch list. I think that Charlie is going to be coming in with essentially almost the heat of a winner without being an actual winner, honestly.
Yeah, it's like what I said about Genevieve. Same kind of feel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think more so with Charlie, though, I think it's almost I shouldn't say universally agreed, because especially with Survivor fandom, nothing is ever universally agreed. But I do think that Charlie, I don't think it's a hot take to say Charlie should have won his season.
Is he the Rob Sesternino of this?
Yeah, he's the Rob Sesternino. That was what I was thinking. Yes, yeah.
And I think that scares me a lot. And I think especially with the new era players, I think that would be something that they're going to go after. And that would also be something potentially, if I'm a winner in the new era, I would try to point to Charlie to try to throw him under the bus instead of myself. So I don't hate it. I just Charlie, I was staying away from due to my own thoughts of how this could go.
Hey, way back when 11-year-old Brian was heartbroken to see Rob C go so early on All Stars. So maybe it'll be the same thing for 33-year-old Brian.
With my fourth round pick, I'm taking Christian. I think that Christian is kind of a wild card. I really can't fully gauge truly how I think Christian's going to mesh with this group. I think having Mike and Angelina there makes me a little bit nervous, but something in my gut tells me maybe we're going to get that team up again. But I think Christian of those three is someone who I think that doesn't necessarily have the scare factor that Angelina has. And I think Mike White is almost more there as a novelty than I actually think that Mike White can do very well. That's my opinion. But I think that Christian, there's some of these players I think he can mesh very well with, and there's some of these players I have a hard time imagining Christian even communicating with, let alone teaming up with. But I think that's kind of part of the intrigue. So I'm taking Christian fourth. I think my next couple of picks, I'm going to kind of be going for a bit of a gamble. And I think that Christian is somebody I'm willing to gamble on.
Hey, it was between Charlie and Christian for me, so I think it's a great pick. And I think that Christian showed the ability to just, no matter what group he's in, he's going to be liked. And that's going to get you further than like any strategic mastermind. Just being like a good hang is so important for Survivor.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Christian was going to be my next pick. So yeah, I think he's the one of the better picks here. I think he's similar to what I was talking about with Genevieve. Like he's good. He's got good like threat level versus ability kind of ratio, which is kind of what you want to look for. Where like they're people like underestimate how good they are versus how big of a threat they were. So yeah, no, I'm a big Christian fan. I hope he does really well. And yeah, good pick. All right, I got back-to-back picks here. Yes. I think I know the two I'm going to go with. So I want to decide which one gets the honor of, I guess, being the last person in the first half.
Yeah, let me know so I can put them in the correct order.
Yeah, I'm going to go first with Aubrey.
All right.
You know, Dylan is picking a team he wants to root for. I'm kind of, going full head, no heart here, other than Genevieve, because Aubrey was the person in our 50 cast preview that I said if I could take somebody off the cast, it would be her. But she is here, and I think that she is gonna do pretty well. And you could say, oh, well, she's done worse every time she's played so far. Doesn't that mean she's going to be a first boot? And I would say, maybe. But I think that, like, it's kind of like maybe like a Game Changers Tony effect, where, like, because she was, like, basically, like, borderline purpled in Game Changers and then did horrifically in Edge of Extinction, people are probably going to forget that she is like really good Survivor when she actually is like, applying herself properly. So yeah, I'm picking Aubrey.
Awesome. I love Aubrey, one of my favorite players of all time. Not someone who's like an Aubrey truther in the sense that like I was sad she didn't win her season, but I was totally cool with Michelle winning it, and I tried to stay away from the online arguments between the two. I was really, really sad how she went out in an Edge of Extinction, so I'm glad she's getting at least one more swing at it. I think she just played too many times in short succession, to be honest. What was it, like 32, 34, and 38? That was way too much Survivor in too short a time.
That was also, it was like, that seemed to be like a trendy thing to do during that period of Survivor too. I think we had a couple players that played in a bunch of seasons within that short time frame.
Yeah, and then we had a huge stretch of nobody coming back. So, yeah. Dylan, thoughts on Aubrey?
Aubrey's another one. I'm having a hard time truly to gauge how she can do on this season. I really am. Like I like Aubrey. I for one, and not fully in the camp that I think that Aubrey should have won. What was that? That was
Go wrong. Yeah.
Go wrong.
No, I don't think she should have.
No, I'm a Michelle Sprucer. This is like, you know,
No,
this is like I'm going full head right now.
I am like, I know it's Aubrey is, I like Aubrey a lot. I just don't, I truly don't know how from my perspective, how I think she'll do on this season. I don't hate the pick. I don't love the pick. But Aubrey was somebody I was probably thinking about a couple of rounds later on. Mm-hmm. So to say she's not on my do not draft list, it's just I truly can't gauge how I think she'll do in this game. She could do really well, honestly. I think that it's all about how I think they're going to mesh socially, because we've seen how important social game is, and I think that Aubrey can probably mesh well socially. She doesn't, and she also doesn't have Ty to hold her down, which is another narrative we'll talk about with other players too, of having their other players holding them down or lifting them up. I think that's like how, and Aubrey. Aubrey is like, she's somebody I've considered a lot going into this draft, but I can't get a temp check on how I think she'll do. And like, that kind of makes me nervous. And that's why I backed away from that.
I was Ty dragging her down. Cause I mean, look, her first 2 seasons, her and Ty both went deep into the game together. And then season 3 that she comes in, like, you know, she goes out pre-merge. So like, well,
she needed Ty on Game Changers and Ty needed her on Go Wrong.
Yeah. I think it's really fair. I think Ty dragged her down. I think Ty dragged her down towards the end on Game Changers is my thought.
He saved her though.
But
she would have come in. What was it, 4th, 5th place? She wouldn't have come that.
Well, she would. She probably would have, if he didn't, you know, have the second idol. She would have gone out in the re-round and then get him.
It's part of the excitement to see of how she'll do, because there's none of that. There's some players that will have connections with people in this season, obviously, but I think seeing Aubrey completely coming in fresh, who she played with in the she's played with
Sri, Ozzy, and Evans.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Aubrey is like, I was very conflicted on her coming into this. And I still am, I guess.
Yeah.
She spent a lot of time with Devins just chilling.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, right? Because there's no one that from her original season on the cast. Like, I think you kind of forget that she did play with 3 people on this cast.
Yep.
It's also
who's your next pick, Ben?
How long ago was Calrung? Like, how many years ago was that? It was over 10 years.
That was.
We were still in college. No, were we still in college?
You
might have been.
I think I was. Yeah. I think that was my the spring semester of my senior year, maybe.
It was right before I started at where we worked together.
It has been almost exactly 10 years. It premiered on February 17th, 2016.
Yep.
Crazy. All right, Ben, your next pick.
Okay, this also I think might be a controversial pick. We'll see. I am going to pick Jonathan as my 5th pick.
Ooh, all right.
Interesting. Jonathan was maybe the last person I expected you to pick, Ben. I'm curious.
I told you I'm going no heart, all head here, right? Like I'm picking who I think is going to go far in the game. And Jonathan is, I don't think, going out pre-merge. I think that he's an underrated social player. I think he has strategic issues, but I do think that he's the kind of player that's just going to get into a solid alliance and end up kind of falling in like the mid to late merge area, which is kind of where he ended up on his original season. He came in 4th. He lost Fire Making Challenge. There were like rounds in the late game of the season where he could have gotten eliminated. And look, we're like more than halfway through the draft. If I can pick somebody who I think is probably going to make like top 8, I'm taking that.
I like it. I think that he will not, or he'll go to the least tribal councils in the pre-merge, which I think is great. And then he kind of is like a good enough strategic player, a good enough social player, and a good enough individual immunity player to where he could end up in the, like, he came in 4th, which is pretty crazy to me because I thought he was going to go out right at the merge.
Yep.
And he managed to get way further than that. So I like it.
My next pick, I'm taking the first winner off the board.
Oh.
I'm taking Savannah.
Okay.
All right.
I think love Savannah that. Compared to the other two winners, Dee and Kyle has the advantage of nobody has seen her gameplay on the island. It makes me a little bit nervous. The dynamic of her and Rizzo, can that stand? Will Rizzo want to then be able to shine for himself and throw Savannah under the bus? That makes me nervous. But I think there's a lot of value here at Savannah. I think that we are very desperate for another 2-time winner, or to somebody, a winner to go very, very far in an all-star season like this.
Yeah, Jeff, we have 3 2-time winners.
Yes.
I don't care if he disregards Australian Survivor. We don't.
I wouldn't be surprised if like our feed was all of a sudden just pulled off of YouTube because you said that. I like Savannah on the season. The one thing that makes me nervous, I guess, is when they see 2 people they've never seen play before. Do they just cut the head off the snake to avoid any sort of unforeseen, blindsides or anything like that? I don't know what the hell that means. What that sentence I just said, but I think do they get rid of Savannah and Rizzo early because they're nervous about not knowing how they play, maybe, or are they able to finesse that and go very far again? I think Savannah of that duo is capable of doing that. We've been preaching about how well she was able to kind of finesse her way in to win. It's a great win, in my opinion, even if we thought the people around her were complete bozos. And I think that she has the advantage over Kyle and Dee of nobody on the island seeing her game other than Rizzo to that point. So assuming her and Rizzo don't all of a sudden begin butting heads, I am going with Savannah. I think Savannah has the potential to go far.
Yeah, I think of the 3 winners, she's got a shot. I do think that the not being able to one pregame with people, that hurts. And then the Russell Hantz effect also hurts, but she is a very good player also. So maybe she'll be able to pull it out.
Yeah, it's hard. I think, historically, the players that play back-to-back do better than you would expect coming in, given that they generally have the fewest connections. So I think I'm not as down on Savannah and Rizzo in terms of their abilities to win this season or do well this season than like a lot of people who are like basically saying they're dead in the water. So yeah, I agree.
All right, so I am going to put both my picks in. I'm going to start off with Camilla. I think Camilla could do well because Kyle and Joe get voted off early, and then they forget about how threatening that trio could be. But I also think she could be the first one of that trio to go potentially, or the second. So I feel like here's about the spot where it's like I'm just going to take swings and see if anything connects. And she was my favorite player on her season. So yeah, a little bit of heart. But this next pick is entirely heart. I'm going to go with Sari Fields. Maybe if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be now, right? We just had to, spoilers for Australian Survivor. We just had to watch her lose fire there after helping Parv run the season. So maybe, that lit a fire, no pun intended, under her, and she'll come and she'll finally win Survivor.
I was trying to squeeze out as much Sari value as I could. I was hoping to get her on the 6th round, man.
Oh, man.
I was hoping. No, that's a good pick. I mean, I agree, but I think both both of them were definitely people I was like eyeing for if they both came around to me. So yeah, both good picks here to get them off the board.
Sari was another player not on my do not draft list for self-explanatory reasons, but at the same time, Sari is Sari for a reason. So I don't know. She could win over this entire cast and win this game. Like, she has that capability to do that. It's how many times can you catch lightning in a bottle? And for Sari, how many times can you catch lightning in a bottle and actually keep it in there, which has been 0 to this point. Yeah, I think that Although did this cast see Survivor versus the Australia?
No.
They didn't, right?
No,
I don't know. And she's somebody that I feel like would purposely never tell anybody on that island about that. But she's just it's for self-explanatory reasons. It scares me that I don't want to draft her because it's like is she the person that is going to be the greatest non-winner ever of Survivor? I feel like that she will be when it's all said and done. I don't think she can win it. It's like her thing now, right? It's like is she gonna be winning a Super Bowl when she's 50 years old? I just don't think so. You know what I mean?
Tom Brady won with the Bucks. She could do it. John Elway won the last 2 years of his career.
How many rings did Tom Brady have before he won with the Bucks?
How many rings did John Elway have?
Okay, here's my counter to this, Dylan, though, right? Similar to my argument with Jonathan, like we're at the point in the draft where we're not like drafting necessarily for winners. Like my mindset right now is like draft replacement. And if you look at Cerie's reality TV career, she's like 90% of the time in the end game. Like, yeah, she has a really bad job of closing, but like you can like have a very good idea that Cirie is probably going to be in the end game of the season, just like statistically, right? So like, you know, looking at the rest of the field right now, like, you know, if I'm being like, who can I be somewhat confident is in like the top 6 to 8 and is going to get me points on the board and has win equity like in, you know, my heart, like that's why I like the Cirie pick, because like
yeah, that's about where I'm at.
I think that's very fair. If I'm on that island, I am suffocating her the first night because she scares me so much. Like Jesus. It's just like you can't like you have. It's like she's so terrifying because she's so lovable and she's so good at this game that alone scares me. That like no matter what happens, first tribal if she's up, I'm voting for Cirie.
I mean, you say that, but in the last like 3 to 5 years, she won the Traders. She was in the end game of BB25. And she was in the end game of Australia versus the world, right? Like, yeah, on paper, that's what people should do, but they just never do it.
No, like, I completely agree with you. But as I sit here in this chair in the middle of January, that's what I would do, and so that's what scares me.
I would probably be like Lisa on Australian. Like I'll throw my game away for you, Cirie.
Yeah.
No, I think you do bring up a good point, though, Ben. Statistically, she always goes deep, and you can't really bet against that. So I think that's very fair.
All right, Dylan, who you got?
With my next pick, honestly, and for Camilla, I was eyeballing her. It's roll the dice of her and Kyle. Are they able to separate? Do they purposely try to work together again? I think that is another prospect alone that is very scary for me. And it kind of scares me away from Camilla, but I do think that's a good value pick of where you took her, because I think taking Kyle and D and probably maybe even Savannah before taking Camilla is maybe potentially just not a smart move. So I do like that a lot. My next pick, I am going Angelina. I am hoping I'm hoping that Angelina is both we get a dose of Angelina and also we get Angelina 2.0, where Angelina is just a pure killer. I like her. Like I said, I think Mike White is there as a nod to him and what he's given to Survivor in recent years, and like White Lotus and all that. That's what that feels like for him. I think he's there to draw in that crowd. I don't think Mike White is here to be a serious contender in this season. I just don't. And I think that Angelina recognizes that and is not going to put all her chips into the Mike White pile. And I think Angelina is somebody that can very easily migrate into another group. I can see Angelina and D working together. I can see Angelina and Q working together. I can see Angelina and Coach working together. I think Angelina potentially has the versatility personality wise to do that, or she has the personality wise to piss off every single person I just named. And I think that's what makes her so endearing. So yeah, Angelina is my pick.
Yeah, I love the pick. I've even in our cast preview, I was a big Angelina as driver player defender. I think that like there is the like the Carolyn effect almost aspect of it, where like she's always going to struggle getting the respect of a jury in terms of like a jury taking her seriously as a player. But like on paper, she like held control for like a big amount of David vs. Goliath. And I think that people just kind of forget about that because of her personality and the memes and because she was a 0 vote finalist, she had to be edited a certain way. But like her and Mike like controlled so much of that post merge. It's like it's legitimately insane. And like I think if she had like a less abrasive personality and she was like kind of less seen as kind of a meme as like a person, like she would be respected way more as a player. I think I think she has a lot of potential, a lot of untapped potential. Like obviously, you know, there is like that hill that she has to climb of, you know, getting people to take her serious as a player. But I do think that she has the capability.
Agreed. I think it was a great pick for this part of the draft. I was surprised she lasted this long, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to pick her next. So, yeah.
All right. Who are you picking then?
I am going to take somebody. I'm actually a little surprised kind of dropped this low, but I'm not too upset. I do think this person is kind of on paper probably the like worst Survivor player from given what we've seen of all these people. But I do think that might be a good thing with this cast. I am going to complete my monopoly on the Edge of Extinction board and pick Rick Devens.
Ooh. All right, the on fire host himself, a man who Jeff Probst once said was going to be a twist all his own, which, you know, that would have been fun, I guess. But I'm glad Devens is out here again. I liked him. I know like the idol stuff got a little old on Edge of Extinction, but I rewatched Edge of Extinction semi recently, and I was entertained by Devens. So,
Rick Devens is probably my least versed character in this entire game. Edge of Extinction, I basically watched as background noise rather than actually watching.
That's a good way to use it. That's a good way to watch it. None of the season matters.
It's a bit of a slog, yeah.
So he was a player that didn't move the needle for me at all being on this season, to be 100% honest with you. But that also leads me into I really don't have a true opinion on Rick, which is why I wanted nothing to do with him in this draft, but it makes sense for you guys. So yeah, I'm glad to finally see Rick Devens play live. Once again, basically was background noise to me that entire season. Not him, the season as a whole was. So I'm curious to watch him now. I think that's fun enough for me.
All right, Ben, second pick.
I'm going between two, and I'm kind of like trying to map out in my head who you guys might pick and who I might get left with, and trying to
with the very last,
yeah. So I'm trying to like potentially avoid somebody, but I think that I'm going to go with Rizzo.
Riz God, baby.
Yes.
Hey, I love Riz God.
I mean, yeah, obviously I love him too. I
don't know if he has a chance, but we're near the end of the draft. You got to take some swings.
Yeah, I this is definitely a swing for me, right? Like I do, like I said with Savannah when we were talking about her, like I think that the idea of people playing back-to-back seasons, not getting to pregame, right? I think a lot of that gets overblown just historically. You know, you look at like Amanda did very well in Micronesia. Obviously, James did as well. And Rupert obviously did very well in All Stars. Russell did very well in Heroes vs. Villains, right? Like historically, like the players who play back-to-back have at least been able to find a footing in the game. even when like they come in with this like aura of like, oh, no one knows who they are, or people like kind of vaguely know who they are, and they don't get to pregame as much. I think that Rizzo, I think a lot of people are probably gonna think that he got cast on this season as a character, and under like because they didn't actually see the season, not realize that he's like probably one of the better players of the new era. And that's kind of what I'm riding on. Where like, you know, people in their like preseason press that we saw are like holding up Rizzo just because they don't know who he is, in my opinion. But once they like hit the beach and like the game actually starts going, I think he's gonna find good footing. So
I think that Rizzo, I agree completely. I think that Rizzo is one of the better new era players. I think people don't like him for whatever reason. They think that he comes off as kind of like douchey and he's loud. And I like shout out Brian Wong, longtime listener to me and Brian. Brian Wong has been a big fan for Better Radio, Wicked Good Show. Brian and Dylan take on the world for many years. Brian Wong does not like RIZGOD, the Riz God. I do. I think this is actually a great value pick. I contemplated taking Rizzo last round instead of Angelina. So I think I guess I was hoping he was going to skip here and get to me in the next round. So I think that's a really good pick. Sort of the same fears I have for Savannah, I sort of have for him in the sense of like, potentially I can see him being maybe a little in over his head with this cast, but at the same time, I think that I think he's smart enough he's a smart kid. He's a smart player. He has all the right things to do. Yes, he didn't want to completely sever the head of Savannah when he probably should have, but I don't think that that's an indictment on him as a player. I think once again, I love alliances that go very, very far, even if you know it may be detrimental to your game in the end. I think that he is going to learn from that. I have a really hard time seeing him and Savannah being the 1-2 duo again in the season, but I think that they can work well together. But I think that this is going to be his season where he wants to show that he's a great player. He can do this on his own with other players. It just scares me coming in from last season, being the new player. Like you said, people don't know him, and I think that scares them a lot. But I think that's a very good value pick for the Riz God. For my pick, I'm shocked he wasn't taking it. I'm taking Joe. I feel my watch vibrating nonstop. My little baby brother, Michael James, who has been watching this entire stream, apparently agreeing with everything. Him and Brian have been basically saying the same exact things about these players together. I'm taking Joe. He's been telling me to take Joe the past 2-3 rounds. I think Joe is a fantastic value pick here. I contemplated taking Joe when I took Savannah. I think that Joe, we've talked about it. He has everything to prove in this season. He has absolutely everything to prove. He needs to learn. He's getting away from it was Eva, right? And being too attached to her in that season. I think Joe's going to be out for blood in this season. I think that most likely he should want to turn all eyes onto Kyle and Camilla to get away from him and saying, hey, look, these are the two that essentially won this season. Like Kyle and Camilla were the most dangerous two players on that season. Take them out. Don't take me out. I'm just this dumb meathead. But we know that Joe's not a dumb meathead. We know that Joe is smart and he needs to capitalize and learn on the things that he did wrong in his season. And I think that Joe has all the makings to go very, very far. And I'm very, very happy to get him in the 7th round.
Oh, Brian, you're muted.
My bad there. I like Joe for sure. I want him to have developed as a player. I want him to accept that his best shot is to play cutthroat and not be as honorable and all that. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at the 5 players left for me, Joe is the safest pick for sure. Yeah, we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty, and I actually am surprised that he didn't go earlier. There was a couple of points where I thought about picking him. I just think that the connection, like the Kyle, Joe, Camilla trio, like I was like really trying to be a bit hands off with it, just because I this season is filmed right after that season end. Like literally, like the finale aired and like they flew out basically. So like all three of those players are going to be at the top of everyone's mental coming in. And because unlike other seasons where there might the other two seasons where there's three players where there might be kind of like iffiness about whether they would actually work together, like I think this trio you could be relatively confident would work together if given the opportunity. So it's just I was afraid to touch it, but I think at this point it's a great pick.
Yeah, so my last two picks, I'm going to go Mike White. For fun, I don't think he's going to potentially win. Maybe there's a world where everyone was vying for the White Lotus spot and wanted to.
I think that argument is silly.
Yeah, I think that's it. It doesn't. It's not likely. I think he's probably out pretty early, unfortunately. But I think it'll be fun to potentially see him do well. I don't know what you guys think about Mike White.
I pretty much agree. I think we all share relatively the same opinion that he is there really more so as a nod to him himself, to get the fans of White Lotus to kind of almost pay tribute to the Survivor fans. Like he encapsulates everything that was great about David versus Goliath. Like he loves Survivor. He's basically like a representation of the fan there almost, even though obviously he is a very famous now, writer and director for White Lotus. He's now known more than just the Ned Schneebly in School of Rock, right? Clearly, especially in Survivor fandom. I don't hate him being there. I thought that he was one of those players that I said absolutely no way he was going to be on this season. Am I glad he's there? Yes. Do I think that he's potentially the first boot? Yes. I really do. But that's I have no problem with him being here. I'm not upset that he's here over other players. I just think realistically, like we said, we're gonna get some double tribals, double eliminations early on. I think that Mike White is probably gonna be one of the first ones to go in those double tribals, double eliminations.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about him, but I think that I think he's probably one of the only players in the cast where I could see him go literally any placement in the season.
Right. All right. And for my final pick, I feel like I had to get a winner, and I feel like D's the best winner of these three. So D is my pick. Almost certainly dead in the water, but this is the last pick. So I had to at least get one winner on my team.
I was taking D next. D somehow I think has a less of a threat level than Kyle, in my opinion. I think Kyle, like Ben, you bring up a great point. I wasn't fully considering earlier that they are literally coming off of watching season 48 directly before they went to go film this. I love D. I think D's a great player. I think D is a great winner. I think that conversation of D, Savannah, Kyle, who's the best of the new era winners, is a very interesting topic. I don't think that this whole season will be a fair representation of who was the best winner of those three of the new era. And like, are they it's just not.
Unless one of them goes super deep and like almost wins. But
which I've obviously
they'll be the first people voted off of their tribe.
Which I've said earlier, I think that potentially is Savannah. I think Savannah has the least threat level of the three winners. D's great. I think that D is somebody who deserves to play again after this season, for sure. Because for exactly what we just said, I don't think she's going to get necessarily the fairest of chances compared to everybody else. But Survivor is not always fair. But I do like the pick. I do.
Yeah, I mean, D was the person that I was hoping would fall to me when I was doing my calculations about who to pick 6th and 7th. So I think it's a good snag.
All right, Dylan.
So now is the real question: do I want to take Kyle or do I want to take Ozzy? Two people that I essentially consider having next to 0% chance of winning this season.
Yep.
I am going to take. I don't know. I'm going to take Ozzy.
Okay. I think that makes sense. We each get a winner,
Yeah.
There's really not too much to say. I think Ozzy is probably one of the players that I just said I don't have a problem with Mike White being on here, which is kind of contradictory because I almost have a problem with Ozzy being here, but Ozzy is here because it's a tribute to what he's given to Survivor. I think the dynamic of having him and Coach back together again is interesting. There's many reasons why I understand why Ozzy's here. I just think that it's seemingly almost I say Survivor fandom never universally agrees. It seems like everybody kind of universally agrees that they're not entirely sure why Ozzy is on this season, but it's for those exact reasons. I think it's more so they're paying tribute to Ozzy. Ozzy is one of the most notable Survivor players ever. This is now his 5th season.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
His 5th season. So that alone is all right. That would make it the most. Can he go for the most days?
He can get the most days. Yeah.
Most days player. So that alone is
sure.
another reason why he's here. I don't know how many days he needs, but yeah, Ozzy. Unfortunately, so Ben, you have to pick Kyle, right? Right. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
I just think that Kyle being the winner coming off the season that they just saw a few days before flying out, that is the highest threat level you could possibly have. And Kyle had a very convincing win. He has a teammate that helped him directly win here with him. He has another guy that he worked with directly that he was here that allowed him to get a win. Not allowed him to get a win, but that enabled him to play well to get a win. I didn't phrase any of that correctly, but we all understand what I'm saying. Kyle, it's just his threat level's too high. And I love Kyle and I hope he has a chance. I just think that it's too much to overcome, I think.
Yeah. So Ozzy has 128 days played, and then it gets a little complicated. Rob has 152 days, par of 149 in American Survivor. She obviously went the distance in the other show, Australian Survivor, but that was 14 days, right? 16?
Yes.
14, 16, I don't know.
Like
so if he goes very far, he will be the one who has the most days played.
Yeah, I think so, right? 149. Yeah, hold on. Wait, can he? So 26 plus 128 is if he goes the distance, he goes 26 days. So it'll go 154. Which would it would pass Rob. So he would have to make it to at least day 25 to pass Rob.
It's not looking likely, but it's possible.
You have to make the top 4 or 5 to break the record.
Of course, the list I'm looking at is including Australian Survivor for both.
Yeah, that's the first one I popped up as well.
What is the total for?
Yeah, there's a TV Insider article here I can put here. It's probably a better source than that, but if it's accurate, it's accurate. So yeah, he theoretically can.
Very, very interesting though. Technically, Aubrey can pass him if he goes out early enough.
That's true.
Sari also can pass him.
121. So we'll see. Ben, do you want to say any words about your final pick that was given to you?
I'm not upset with getting Kyle. I don't think that Kyle. I know a lot of people are like, he's the if you have to pick a least likely person to win or a least likely person to go far, he's I think one of the more popular names just simply because the cast saw him win season 48 and then immediately flew out for this season. And he played a really dominant game, arguably one of the best games in the last 5 to 10 years of the show. So I think that he is going to have a big target. Camilla and Joe both being there really bad for him. But if Camilla and or Joe go out early in their tribes and Kyle's able to kind of win out for 2 or 3 rounds, maybe he gets into an okay spot socially. People kind of lessen their threat level on him because maybe Camilla takes an early boot, something like that. I think there is a path I don't think it's a likely path, but I don't think he's as dead in the water as people are like saying he is.
Right.
And I know that there was like a lot of like this idea that this is they're going to be anti-winner or whatever, but like the last time we had, or the last like couple times we had winners on the show, like obviously in Game Changers, all three of the winners went out pre-merge, so like I think that's not a great example. But Sandra was in a really good spot before she got swap screwed with the second swap. JT also kind of got swap screwed. Obviously, he misplayed by not playing his idol, and he got like kind of blindsided there. And I don't think that Tony was ever gonna to do well on Game Changers for not even because of being a winner, just because of who he is. But like Heroes Villains, which I think this is like a comparable season to in terms of like the way that it's constructed. Like Game Changers had kind of a lopsided cast in terms of legacy. Like this is a way more like Heroes vs. Villains coded cast combination. You know, two of the winners were in the final. Sandra won again. JT was like in the conversation if like he didn't misplay his idol in that season as well. Like, you know, it's not impossible for like winners to go deep on a second season if they play a certain way. So I don't know. I would have preferred D if I had to pick between D and Kyle, but I'm not. If I had been given the choice that Dylan was to pick between Ozzy and Kyle, I probably would have taken Kyle. So I'm happy with that at least.
I am glad we all get one winner.
I was about to say, yeah, I am glad that played out that way. Yeah, Ozzy is like people. I kind of feel bad. People are like, I'm saying Ozzy looks terrible, which I think he just looks like an older version of Ozzy.
It's just a bad haircut. If he had his
it is a bad haircut. I wonder if he'll be hosting any watch party. Well, I'm very excited for watch parties for 50. I'm gonna keep my eye out for that. Maybe invite a little group day out at a watch party.
Yeah,
but I know Ozzy hosted one at the bar in Boston. But I think that we nailed down the Survivor watch party bar is going, like the official one's going to be in Miami this year. It's my I
get
think,
out there.
I do think that I think that bar will still be hosting parties, but that's neither here nor there right now. No, I think this draft was very fun. I'm very happy that we all have one winner. I think that adds a interesting dynamic to it. And hour and a half in, I think this was great. I want to do my shout outs real quick. Shout out Boy Scout Scott, who's a newcomer. He's gonna be watching season 50, potentially completely blind. Brian Wong.
Boy Scout Scott, is that the Scott I know, or is that a different?
Yes, that's the Scott you know.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Shout out Scott. And
Brian Wong, longtime listener, always. Maybe our first fan ever. I think that's fair enough to say about.
Definitely our first fan ever.
And then we have Mean Girl Lauren, who she just gets upset seeing all these women in this season because Lauren hates women, even though Lauren herself is a woman. And then we have sweet baby Michael, who's my little baby brother. I mean, he loves Survivor. When I say my little baby brother, he is in his 20s, but he's a big fan of Survivor. He's kind of similar to me. Got super into it, kind of within the past 5 years. So. I think it's great. I think 50 is going to be a very, very fun time just for every Survivor fan. I think it's going to be a fun time for our podcast. And I am like, this just has me so hyped. The next month and a half can't come soon enough. But we have Traders, which, like I said, I think it's actually been a good season so far. I got a little nervous at first. So please check out our podcast, Meet You at Breakfast there on the same channel as here. We'll be recording this week for episode 4 and 5. So check us out.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Traders, and then I don't know when are we recording, Sunday night or?
I think we were looking at Monday.
Right?
Yeah, I have.
Right,
stuff
you have
on
something on
weekend,
Sunday. Yes.
So,
yeah. So Monday night, be back here live, talking episode 4 and 5. It was really fun. This past week talking about it, despite the outcome of who got murdered, but. That was a lot of fun. Main channel, we could get everything, get new videos coming out, at least one every week. Trying to do 2 every week. We'll see if that's something I can sustain. Then those fake nerds, adding shorts every day to that channel. Just made a long form video for it today for the first time in a while. Try to be more active on there. Wicked Good Sports. Again, another shorts channel right now. Everyone who is my co-host got busy. for, with their real life. So haven't been making the long form stuff there. Better Radio's this channel that we're streaming on has all of our podcasts. Check those out. Jenny and I have talked about starting a Gilmore Girls podcast. I've never seen Gilmore Girls, and it's like Jenny's favorite show. So I'm going to go along on the ride to Stars Hollow, I believe is the name of the town in that. Looking forward to that. And yeah, our other channel, our newest one, History is Wicked, where we cover cryptids, urban legends, and weird history stories. So that's all I got. Ben, anything you want to promote?
No, this was a lot of fun. We're shooting, I think, for around an hour and a half, and we hit it pretty much on the dot.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Really good. I'm happy with my team. I think that Brian's team was like, it would have been my heart team, basically. If I came into this with the express, I want to win. I'm on a hot streak. I'm tickling my head. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the traders in our coverage.
And we actually will be doing streaming more. I promise. Whether it's just talk shows or gaming as well. I want to play Mario Party. I feel like we could get a weekly Mario Party stream going. That could be a lot of fun.
Speaking of Wicked Good Sports, we big announcement. Brian and I will probably be doing a Notre Dame podcast.
Oh, we will be. Yes.
For me to vent my frustrations about the injustices that happened in Notre Dame this year as we lead into what I hopefully is finally Notre Dame's historical national championship winning season next year in 2026. So
honestly, when I've started new podcasts, the teams have done well. So
let's ride off of that.
Celtics won in like the second year of covering them. Who else? I feel like there are others. I don't know. But Celtics for sure won. So, yeah, Dolphins, they're never going to win. So, don't even have to worry about that there. So, hopefully Notre Dame wins. And I think it'll be great for me because I really love college football, but I've never picked a team because I went to a state school in, Massachusetts. So, as much as I love Worcester State, I don't think they're even a good Division III team, let alone like a real one. So it'll be fun to have a team to root for.
Great, go Irish! I feel bad bringing you into the fold, but maybe it's the year to finally do it.
No, it'll be fun. And you know what? I am used to stuff not working out in football, so it'll be fine if it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very exciting. I think that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you all in the next one.